Welcome to another edition of the No Job Podcast. My name is Najee Simmons, your host. Here at the podcast, we believe that everybody has to earn a living, but nobody has to have a job. A job is just about trading time for money so you can pay your bills and continue to live. But work, the kind of work we look for, is about using your time and your energy in alignment with your passion to build or contribute to something that is important to you, something that's meaningful in your eyes and in your heart. And we gather together in this community to get the motivation, to get the courage, to get the information and the education we need to make our dreams come true, because it is not easy. This world is not always conspiring to help you achieve your goals, or so it might seem. This is where we come to flip the script, to flip the narrative, to reject the idea that we have to trade our lives for a 9-to-5 nightmare. Instead, we want to work our dreams for a living, and we believe we can do it. We're not afraid to find out what it takes and work to embody it. And today, speaking of being afraid, I want to talk about a friend on your journey to no job that a lot of people are afraid of, and really that a lot of people work very, very hard to avoid. It's something that I think you need to take action to move towards your goals, but I've seen the fear of it take people off the path. I've seen the fear of this cause people either to not pursue their goal or to abandon their pursuit too early before they even gave themselves a chance to succeed. What am I talking about? Who is the friend that you're afraid of that you should actually be chasing after, that you should actually be gathering to yourself? I'm talking about pressure. Stress and pressure. You heard me right. It's the one thing nobody in the world wants more of. But I think there's good stress and I think there's good pressure. And we're going to talk about this today. And if you're somebody who needs that extra kick in the butt, needs that extra motivation, you're looking for something to help you either take action for the first time or take more drastic action towards your goals, I've got the secret ingredient. Just add pressure. My name is Najee Simmons, and this is the No Job Podcast. So yes, I'm the guy here telling you, the person that sits at your desk at work or whatever your work environment is, and you're stressed out because of all the garbage that you have to deal with, and because you know that it's not contributing to anything that you find to be meaningful. You know you're not working your dream for those 8 hours, for those 12 hours, whatever it is you work. And you're thinking, how can I possibly add more stress or pressure into my life? And if there was more, why would that be good? Because pressure pushes you forward. Pressure inspires action. It doesn't just inspire action. Pressure forces action. And let's face it, sometimes we need to be forced. We don't always do everything that we need to do just because we need to do it. It helps a lot of the time to have a fire burning under our butt, some kind of circumstance that makes us uncomfortable to get us to start working toward what we need to do. And I think that our dreams, the things that are very important to us, the things that more than anything we think God put us here to do and that we want to see happening, we want to live through these things. Those things give us a deep sense of comfort when we think about them. It's like a fantasy, and we get all types of fuzzy feelings and great emotions associated with it in our minds and hearts when we just think about being a touring musician, when we think about painting and selling our work. It makes us feel wonderful inside when we think about starting our own business. It makes us feel beautiful when we're thinking about designing our own clothes and selling them. We get all these great feelings. And the last thing we want to do, and here's the problem, the last thing we want to do is add an association with pressure to those beautiful dreams in our mind and in our heart. Could it be, listener, watcher, could it be that the reason you're not taking more action is because you know that if you bring your dream and your vision into the real world, it's gonna entail some suffering. You're gonna take some hits. You're gonna have to roll with the punches, and no longer will it be that every time you think of your dream, you only have good feelings. Sometimes there's gonna be pain, because if you finally open that business, you finally get the storefront, right? There's going to be some months in the beginning, I would think, where it's hard to pay rent. And that's a lot harder to deal with and to think about than it is just to have the fantasy of running a store in your mind where there are no consequences and when there is no risk. When there's no risk, though, and when there's no pressure, chances are there's not enough action to make anything happen. You need to add some pressure in your life. But most of us are scared of it because of the feeling it brings. And before we talk about how to get over that fear or how to manage that fear, how to cope with it and still being able to move forward to what God would have you do, I want to tell you a story about back when I was in sales, about what I saw pressure do to people. What I saw pressure do to people. And when you hear this, I think you're going to understand how important it is for you to identify the fear of pressure in your life, to overcome it, and to begin to welcome pressure so that you can make moves. So I was in life insurance sales for about a year. I did above average in the beginning and quickly started to trend towards sucking because I didn't know what I was doing after the beginner's luck ran out and after the fortunate circumstance that I was in changed. But I was still trying, I was still languishing there for a long time. And I was there long enough to see other people come and go while I was still there. And at the company I was at, there was a training program where you'd be training every day for a full work day for a month before you went out into the field and started selling stuff. And I remember seeing kids, young people coming in from that training program into the office on their first day. And when they would come in, I would see the fear of God in their eyes. I would see absolute terror, looking like they've just seen a ghost, looking like they had just looked the devil in his face. Because in a sales environment, if you've never been in one, you understand that you only make money if you succeed in doing what you're there to do. And that's pressure. If that's not pressure, I don't know what is. But here's what I saw pressure do to, I remember a particular training class. It was a young man and a young woman. They came in, the boss introduced them to everybody. They got settled in their desks and they closed their doors and they went on their merry way. I come back into the office the next morning. Both desks are cleared out. No trace of these people, no sign of them. It was like they were never there. So I go up to the head honcho, ask him what happened. He says they quit. They couldn't take it. And I'm thinking, and mind you, this is somebody who is trying in that same business, struggling, sucking, not succeeding. But I'm thinking, they couldn't take what? They didn't do anything. They didn't try anything yet. They were so scared that they gave up before they gave it a shot. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen to you. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen to you if you don't learn to deal with pressure. And it wasn't even that these kids were scared of pressure didn't kick them out. Pressure didn't kick them out. They didn't even give themselves a chance to accrue any pressure. They didn't let enough time pass to have a bill to pay that was getting past due that they needed to sell something to be able to pay. They let the fear of pressure kick them out. Either the fear of pressure is going to cause you to quit, or the harnessing of pressure is going to propel you forward and cause you to prosper. I've said this before. I'm not running away from pressure. I'm actually looking to impose pressure on myself. Not enough to kill me, but certainly enough to make me take action. And I just want to tell you about two techniques that I'm employing currently in my life, and I think you should think about using them too, that add pressure to me. But not bad pressure, not condemnation, good pressure. These things make me have to take action on my dreams. These things make me have to take action on my goals. I'm a Christian man. I know you need to pray to the Father. I know you need to submit your plans to Him. I know that. But I also know that faith without works is dead, and He requires to take action many times on the things we ask of Him. And here are some techniques that I am employing at this time. The first one is very, very simple. Give yourself a deadline. And let me just add, you don't have to know exactly what you're going to do to make something happen in order to set a deadline for it. You need to, from the depths of your heart, tell yourself and the rest of the world, this is my declaration. This is what I'm doing, and this is when I'm going to do it. Because if your goal doesn't have a timeline, if it doesn't have a deadline, it's simply a fantasy. Honestly, I think deadlines should be called lifelines because deadlines bring dreams to life. Because nobody does anything when we don't have them. For example, in my life right now, I said this a few episodes ago, I'm working a dumb job that doesn't mean anything to me right now. And I'm working on making what I do here profitable in the long term. But one thing I know is this job I have is so stupid that I need another dumb job until I can transition to what I want to do. And not only that, I need to make twice as much money. If I'm going to be spending my day doing something I don't necessarily love doing, I have a minimum amount you need to pay me to be in that condition. And I've decided on what that is. And I know when I'm quitting this job, and I haven't finished developing the skill I need for my next job, but I've already told my wife in the world that on November 19th of 2021, I will be done at the dumb job that I'm at now. Do you think that helps me wake up early in the morning to start training and working on my computer coding skills so I can get that next job? You better believe it does. And the first point, deadlines, ties directly into the second point. Public declarations to people that matter to you, that care about you, and that want to encourage you. Because these are the kind of people that are going to hold you accountable. And a deadline that's just in your head is a deadline in a dangerous place. Because we have that tendency, don't we, to just push things a week out, to push things another month out. Oh, I didn't get this time, but I'll get it next time. And we have a much easier time convincing ourselves of the excuses that we make in our heads than we do articulating those same excuses to people that care about us and that we care about, right? So public declarations to people that matter to you and that care about you, because they're going to keep you accountable. And let me say a quick word about accountability. Accountability is not these people making you do what you said you would do. Accountability is simply you knowing that these people have the right and they're interested in checking in to see if you did what you said you were going to do. These people cannot make you do anything that you do not will yourself to do, that you do not get up and go perform. But these people should know they have the right to ask you, hey man, so how's the coding going? You've been practicing? So you've been in the studio at all lately? Been recording anything? And they deserve, because these people are part of your community, they deserve not to hear an excuse back. You should want to deliver them a good report. You should want to be able to tell them you made some progress because they care about you and you care about them too. And you should be willing to do the very same thing for them. So involve your community in this. You can do what I'm doing. I'm declaring my stuff publicly because that's just a decision I've made. But you at least need to have a tight circle of people who are invested in your life, who know about what you're planning to do, and who will hold you accountable. And the last thing I will say is, have a dream bigger than the dream that requires the dream. Have a dream bigger than the dream that requires the dream. Have something that this fits into that is bigger than it itself. Have some sort of responsibility with this dream to something else that is also important. Because there are going to be times when you say to yourself, I'm willing to give it up. I'm just willing to give it up. Because I'm going through a lot right now. I'm tired. I'm hurt, and I just can't. But you can add pressure when your personal dream is connected to something that you think is important and something that the Father, God, wants to happen in this earth. So maybe when you succeed in business and when you become wealthy, you're going to be able to be more charitable than you ever were before. Maybe you're going to help kids from your neighborhood. Man, one of my boys from high school hit me up recently. And he just mentioned, we used to run track together, and he told me about a girl who's a freshman at our old high school now who is doing phenomenal. She's an incredible athlete. However, we went to a private school, and long story short, she may not be able to go back to the school next year due to personal circumstances. I want to be the guy who can make that not a problem. I'm going to put the pressure on myself to let myself know that I need to be able to help other people. Because I just believe my heart's yearning to help in that situation is more than just the fact that I'm a nice guy or something. I believe it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I don't directly have a dream of just putting kids through school, but it's when a situation comes into my universe, into my community that I feel moved to help out with, I want to do that. That's why the No Job Podcast, that's why my brand, this brand has to succeed, has to prosper, because I have to blow up, because I want to be able to help people, because people need my help. That's pressure. That's pressure. The 3 steps to putting pressure on yourself. Deadlines. Deadlines bring your goals to life. A goal without a deadline is simply a fantasy. Public declarations of what you're going to do and when you're going to do it to people that matter to you and that you care about. Because your community can hold you accountable. They can't make you do anything, but they can check in to see if you did what you said you would do. And man, the fear of disappointing people you love and who love you is a great motivator. And finally, put other people on your back. Add responsibilities. Have a dream that's bigger than the dream that requires the dream. Commit yourself to helping people through doing what you do in a big and impactful way. My name is Najee Simmons, and this is the No Job Podcast. Thank you guys for listening to this point. Always happy to have you on board. It means so much to me that anybody would listen, that anybody would take the words of wisdom I hope that I give here and apply them. And as you have noticed, the past couple weeks, been going through a lot got mixed up, wasn't able to record episodes, but now I'm back. I can tell you, I told Marv, I didn't feel like coming back. It's really easy to get used to not doing what you said you wanted to do when money isn't coming in for it yet. But I realized that when you don't want to do the thing you want to do, that's when you need to do it the most. When you don't feel like doing the thing that you want to do, that's when you need to do it the most. Because doing it when you don't feel like it is what's going to enable you to do it for a living, to build up a reputation, to build up a catalog that anybody is going to care about, that's going to hold any significance. Is going to take time, and it's going to take consistency, whether you feel like doing it or not. So I just want to shout you out, whoever you are, listening to this podcast, watching this on YouTube, watching this on an IG clip, wherever you come across this. You know what you love to do, but you're beat up because it was a tough week at work. You got a newborn, baby was crying all night. You got a 2-year-old, 3-year-old that was crying all night. Your kid got an ear infection and was up in pain. Something happened in your family, something that you can't do something about, but that's troubling, that's worrisome. Take some time to work on your dream. Whatever little you can do is worth doing because it moves the ball forward. Nobody is coming to rescue you from the 9-to-5 nightmare. That's why it's up to you. That's why it's up to me to take 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. to do whatever it is we need to do to make progress. The world needs you. I'm here as your friend, adding pressure. Don't do what you feel like doing right now. Do what you need to do to make your dreams come true. My name is Najee Simmons, and this is the No Job Podcast. Appreciate you so much for listening. Thank you for making this community great. Thank you for making this podcast worthwhile. If you like what you heard, please subscribe so you'll be notified whenever new content drops.